Hey, this is Colton Dixon, and you're listening to Dispatch Radio.
All right, folks, you may know him as Spencer from Good Luck Charlie, but we do have a great movie that's coming out. It's called God's Not Dead, and we're so blessed to be able to have a chance to talk to Shane Harper. How are you, Shane?
Doing great, thanks. How are you?
Oh, we're so blessed at this end, and we just so excited about this movie, and want to know a little bit about it and what your thought was. What was it that really attracted you to this story?
Well, I think it's a really interesting narrative. Just especially what my character kind of goes through, being a college student, kind of challenged by his philosophy teacher, about the existence of God, and I've always been really interested in apologetics and the idea of kind of defending your faith, and I grew up in church, and I think it's something that I, in my young teens, kind of really started to get into. I started reading, lots of C.S. Lewis, and it just fascinates me, and I think it was just a real natural draw that way. I was totally sucked into what this character was going through. So I was really excited to get the breakdown, get going for it.
I think it really looks very interesting, and I'm really looking forward to that exchange between you and Kevin Sorbo's character, the professor, and I myself, because I'm very much into apologetics as well. What were some of the questions and counters that were in the script that you really kind of wow, that's a really good one, or oh, I hadn't thought of that?
Yeah, totally. Well, there was a lot. There was a lot of different, there was about 24 pages of monologue that I had to memorize, for this character, for these kind of debate scenes. And a lot of it, I was kind of familiar with, but, different things like, the idea that, the primary theory about the universe was a steady state, universe, that it always kind of existed, and that was kind of the prime, before science kind of caught up, that was kind of the primary, stance behind how the universe operates. But it's funny because in Genesis, it talks about a point of beginning. The idea is that the universe didn't always exist. There was a point of beginning, and it's funny because as science actually caught up, in modern times, now obviously the steady state theory is thrown out, and we know that there was an actual point of beginning, and it's so cool because different things like that I wasn't necessarily aware of, and just how that all kind of came to be. Different things like that were really cool to learn and kind of figure out and learn for my character. It was fun.
I think that's going to be something that the audience will really leave from this film, and I think that we're going to really raise some awareness in the Christian community about defending their faith against some of these scientific accusations. And you get to spend just a ton of screen time with Kevin Sorbo. Tell us what it's like working with Kevin and kind of what your takeaway is after spending so much time with him.
Yeah, it was great to be able to play these scenes with him because, his character, Professor Radisson, his character in the film, is really this kind of very intimidating guy, and really kind of gives, Josh a run for his money, and the class too. He's intimidating and he's very assertive, and it's great to play these scenes with. It was great to play those scenes with Kevin because he's naturally, he's a big guy. He's got that deep, strong voice. It was so fun to play that with him because it was just so natural for him to be able to. He did such a great job, I think, in that character, and getting to really play those scenes. He's a longtime pro, so it was a great chance for me to play scenes with a seasoned actor. And it was just all real good time, and we had such a blast shooting those scenes. It was great.
I don't screen the film until Saturday, so tell folks a little bit about, did you get to have scenes with some of the other great stars like Dean Cain, or even the Robertsons, I think, make a cameo in this?
They did, yeah. No, I didn't have scenes with Dean Cain. We got to interact a little bit off, in the hotel lobby or whatever. And he seemed like a nice guy. I didn't get to interact with Robertson either because they shot their scenes a bit later, and we're not in those scenes together. But I think the cast is really great, and I really think that it's a strong. I really do think it's a very strong cast, and it's great to work with everyone. And I hope everyone that sees the movie can kind of feel the chemistry between the cast members and, can really enjoy the movie.
What was the advice, or maybe the way that the character was even pitched to you, let's say from Harold even, but what was it about the character? How do they describe your character?
That's actually a really good question. They kind of described him as, we talked about him not being sheepish, but also not being, kind of annoyingly assertive. I don't know if that makes any sense, but he kind of needed to really land in the middle. He needed to be really relatable. Josh is kind of just, he kind of grew up in church, and his journey goes from really, he is really shaky these first few scenes that he has with Professor Radisson, and there's kind of this really awesome progression as he starts to learn more, and he starts to kind of stand more firm in what he's arguing for in the class with these 3, dissertations or whatever that he's giving. And he kind of goes on this, he goes on a spiritual journey, and I think that just as a person too, we've talked about him being, really relatable and just kind of being really honest and being honestly convicted, because he didn't want to come off annoying. He didn't want to come off, I'm like a know-it-all, so he really wanted to have a humility about him as well that he's learning throughout the film. So hopefully that comes across, because it's really important to kind of get those nuances,
It's funny you bring that up, because that's definitely how I feel about my personal journey down such a road of apologetics and working in science for so many years of my life, and my Christian faith being strengthened. I feel like I fit pieces of the puzzle in together, and yet at the same time, I'm never opposed of hearing yet another scientific argument. Give me another thing that you think is true, and let me explore down the rabbit hole to where I think the truth really lies. And that's not how we're stereotyped in society, right? I mean, that's not where, if you're a Christian, you're the closed-minded one. You're the one that doesn't want to, listen to reason and rationale. But that's kind of one of the topics of this film, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's such a great point. That's a bit of it's kind of this, it's a presupposition, about Christians, I think nowadays, and look, this all started, a couple hundred years ago with the God is dead movement. And it kind of stems from this, the Nietzschean, philosophy, and it definitely is kind of a very unexplored. There's no, the science and the Christian faith they're not mutually exclusive. I don't know where, that it's kind of, it's evolved in our culture as being two things that can't exist in the same space, and that's just absolutely, it's a misunderstanding of both science and, Christianity. Religion in general, but also the Christian faith more specifically. And I think hopefully, the movie can kind of open up. It's really scratching the surface. It's like, it was 25 pages of apologetics that Josh has, but it had to get edited down for time purposes, and it's only going to scratch the surface for people, really. But I'm hoping that, Christians and non-Christians alike can really dialogue, in a healthy way through the movie, and really, explore, what that other person is thinking and what they're going through. Because you really see that, you learn a lot about Professor Radisson and why he believes this way. And you learn a lot about, why Josh Wheaton believes what he believes, and the different arguments for those. And hopefully that's kind of the takeaway, socially of the movie. It's not some big, it really is just, I think, to start that conversation, which I think is really important.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. And I guess I need to shift gears here. I know we got to stay within our little time budget here, but we have to shift to your iconic character. So I assume there's very little places that you can go where someone of the female persuasion, shall we say, won't recognize you as Spencer.
Right. Yeah. We did the show for 4 years, and it was, people really loved it, and families, all over just really connected with it, and it's great to be a part of.
Well, not to mention that, you're dating Bridget, and the two of you together, it's like the show's on a tour. Anywhere you guys decide to eat out, everybody thinks that it's I mean, it's the craziest thing when people learn that, right? I mean, they're like, well, we're actually we're actually kind of being alone right now. We're not actually filming the scene here, so
yeah, it's really funny. It's definitely true. Yeah, it is fun. People are like, oh, what are you guys doing? What are you guys doing now? Yeah, nice.
What is the one big thing that you learned from that show that really kind of helped you as an actor?
About Charlie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's a good question. I think, Good Luck Charlie's a live action situation comedy, multicam. It's a genre of TV that has really been, that we really got to explore in a very deep way. You do something for 4 years and you really kind of get a taste for what something is and how to do it successfully. And so I think for that show, I learned a lot about comedy. I mean, I learned a lot about half-hour multicam comedy, which is a genre of comedy in and of itself, and I learned a lot about it and a lot about how to operate within it. And it certainly was a great, learning experience as an actor, just to know that genre well. And I know that genre well now because of, having gone through it for 4 years. And that's super invaluable to me going forward.
Well, the other piece of your incredible resume, of course, is your music career. And I have to tell you, God bless the internet, because that is the only way I probably would have found out that you covered a song that is true to my heart. You did a cover of Your Love by The Outfield. My wife and I were like, that's Spencer. I'm like, wait a minute, that's The Outfield. That's
so funny.
So tell everybody a little bit about some of your music and what's going on, where they need to go to get the latest copy, and what are you going to be doing? You're going to do some touring, you're going to be doing some more recording. What's going on in that part?
Yeah. No, it's a good question. I'm really glad you guys found that song and enjoyed it. That's one of my favorites. I love that rendition that I did with my music partner. He redid the track and produced it, and we did like this interesting cover, and it was so much fun. I'm glad you guys got a hold of it. But music. I'm working on new music right now. Hopefully, I'll have something released this year. I can't say when exactly, but hopefully something will come out this year. Really hoping to do that for everybody, because I haven't released new music in a while, other than the Hold You Up song, which is on the God's Not Dead soundtrack, which is really exciting. But I haven't released anything, from just myself. So hopefully we'll be able to get something out this year, and I'll be able to kind of get out and tour, because getting out and touring is really one of my favorite things. Certainly as a musician, just being able to connect with fans and being able to play music live, it's such an incredible experience, and something that's really dear to my heart. So being able to get out and really play some music, sometime this year, and be able to tour with some new songs would really be fantastic. So hopefully that'll happen sooner rather than later, hopefully.
Yeah, we gotta get you down here in Florida, man. Come to our church, sing a couple tunes. These girls they'll go bonkers, man. I guess you can bring Bridget. I mean, I guess Bridget can come.
Yeah.
She can sit with me. I mean, there's no problems with that. I'll keep an eye on her for you.
If she wants,
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Tell everybody a little bit about how they kind of follow you on Twitter, Facebook, and all that kind of stuff, and keep in touch with what's going on with Shane Harper.
Yeah. You can follow me on my Twitter account, which is at the Shane Harper. Shane Harper was taken, so just put a "the" in front of there, and you'll find me. You can find my Facebook, my official Facebook. It's Shane Harper. There's a lot of Facebook posers, but the real one will have a lot more, likes than the rest of them. So you'll be able to figure it out. And those are kind of my two socials. I also have an Instagram, that I use to post a lot of pictures, and that's also at the Shane Harper. So everyone can follow me on there, and I love to, reply to fans when I get a chance on Twitter and stuff. It's great to kind of have that interaction. So, if anyone wants to come on and join, social media is happening.
All right, we will definitely link to that. Folks, this weekend, God's Not Dead opens, and we got to get out and support the film. It's done by Pure Flix. It's got an amazing cast, obviously with Shane that we've been talking to, Kevin Sorbo, Dean Cain, and many, many others. We've been covering the press on this for a while now, and we'll link the trailer to the bottom of our interview just in case you've missed it. And of course, we really appreciate Shane carving out some time here to talk about this. And keep in touch, brother. Let me know how this music and the song comes out or whatever. Give us a ring, and we'll talk about that again.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. It's a great interview.
All right, take care. God bless.
All right, thanks. You too. Bye.